Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Hey there, everybody, and today I want to go over a couple of pretty easy tricks that can help you level up your combat skills very, very easily. And this will work for all 4 major combat skills. That's melee, ranged, magic, and summoning. So for this trick, what you're going to want to do is you're going to need a shovel, and you're going to need a Shroomman Brute like this one that we've got here. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to trap him. So I'm going to try to entice him and get him mad at me. Come on, buddy. Come over here. And you gotta... It's a process. You gotta get him to stun himself, and then you just lock him into place. There we go. Now he's stuck. And I can hit him if I want to, but he can't hit me. And I can hit him with my bow. I can summon my bats. As long as I hit him periodically with my fist or with another weapon, the bat will also keep attacking. Hit him with my spells. This works real well, and you don't need to have gotten into any bosses yet. You can do this right at the beginning in the dirt biome before you've gotten anything. Just make sure that you bring yourself a little bit of protection, because as you can see, there's all sorts of creatures around me here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually dig myself a little bit of a safe space. Now, none of these guys can get to me while I'm farming my combat skills. If you have the ability to, bring a salvage and repair station with you as well. And just set that down, and then you can just keep your items repaired while you just beat on this brute. Now, since he doesn't die, you're not going to be training your vitality skill. If you want to train your vitality skill as well, you're going to need a different trick for that. Be careful as well that you aren't attacking him too quickly. You do want to give him time to heal. Even though you're only doing 1 point of damage at a time to this guy, you can still kill him if you do enough damage to him fast enough. In order to do this method, you need to know where the Hive Mother boss is. Now, there is a way to find the Hive Mother with a scanner if you haven't found her naturally. The Hive Mother spawns within the larva biome. It's a sub-biome of the clay caverns. The Hive Mother herself is going to spawn at about 230 tiles away from the core. It'll be give or take a little bit, but you can also find her with a scanner. However, to do that, you need to have defeated Malagaz. So you need to come up to Malagaz's statue. You need to craft an ancient hologram pod. Then you need to go to the ancient hologram pod and craft a Hive Mother scanner. It costs 5 ancient gemstones and 5 mechanical parts. Once you have done that, you will be able to see exactly where on the map the Hive Mother is located. The Hive Mother does have a waypoint. I highly recommend that you find it before you do this. It'll make your life easier. Now, I have already cleared out some of the map a little bit. This is the Hive Mother. She is not aggressive, so if you don't attack her, you don't have to worry about anything. This area will be full of a whole bunch of acid. There'll be some walls. It looks a lot cooler than this. I've cleared things out a little bit. And then I've also dug a little bit of a pit here. This is something that you're going to want to do. You want to funnel the ground, like I have done here, to make it easy for monsters to kind of come to a single point. And then you want to give yourself a whole lot of open space. You can either have water or just let it be void. It doesn't really matter. Then you're going to take some bridges. As part of the setup for ranged or for melee, you do want to at least give yourself a little bit of room to move around. I also highly recommend that you bring with you a salvage and repair station, as well as some wood, some scrap parts, and if you are a summoner, also bring some fiber. If you are melee, I recommend bringing as many swords, wooden swords are just fine, as you can, as well as if you are ranged, wooden bows. Summoners and mages, I recommend bringing as much as you can of your simple staff or of your Tome of the Dark. The reason why I recommend the repair station and this stuff is because for many of you, you may only have 1 or 2 of these items, and you're not going to be able to have a whole bunch that you bring with you, so you need to repair what you got. Place down your repair station, and then you're pretty much ready to keep your gear good to go. You can even go ahead and reinforce all of it to give yourself a little bit of an extra boost right off the bat. Now, there is another optional thing that you can do at this point, and it is something that I recommend, but it is not required. If you haven't gotten to the point in the game where you have easy access to iron, then don't worry about this. But if you are, then I highly recommend that you use conveyor belts as well, because what's going to happen is when you start to attack the Hive Mother, these little spots here that I'm circling will spawn eggs, and those eggs will spawn creatures, and those creatures will end up attacking you. But some of the creatures will spawn from these back eggs here and may not automatically start attacking. And the spawn of creatures back here can build up, and it will cause the spawn of eggs in the front to slow down a little bit. So in order to prevent the buildup of creatures in the background, what you're going to need are conveyor belts. Take as many conveyor belts as you can craft, orient them so that the arrow is facing toward wherever you've set up your farm, whether it's to the right or whether you set it up to the left, because you can do that from either side. Take your conveyor belts and just start placing them to get the creatures to essentially be forced over to the front. That is pretty much the goal. And you just want to get as many conveyors as you can, get as many enemies as you can pushed forward. I've run out of conveyor belts, but you're going to need more than 50. I recommend a couple hundred if you have the ability to do this. Okay, so once you've placed all the conveyor belts that you are happy with placing, then what you're going to do is just come up here, destroy the bridges. You want to make sure that you have a complete open gap around you. You do not want to be surrounded by walls. These larvae will break through walls and get to you. So create a moat to surround you. And even if you're melee, you're going to start with some sort of ranged. I recommend a bow, even if you are a mage or a summoner, and then just get the attention of the Hive Mother, get her spawning. If you want to, get her to the point where she's also enraged, if you think you can, because when the Hive Mother is enraged, she will spawn eggs faster. So if you can enrage her, that's great. If you don't think that you can do it safely, don't worry about it. Just get her going. And after a few moments, eggs are going to start to spawn, the creatures are going to pop out of it, and they're going to come up here to the front, and they're going to start attacking us. Okay, so at this point, we have got a small group of larvae that have started to build up. We've got eggs that are popping around us. So really all that you want to do at this point is you just want to sit here shooting them. You're going to kill these larvae. Don't worry about the Hive Mother anymore. You just ignore her, because she doesn't matter at this point. She's just spawning these ads for you, and you're just killing the ads. Hit them with your ranged, hit them with your magic, summon your bats, and the bats will actually attack them. You sometimes, when it comes to the bats, because of the way their aggro is, you may have to build a bridge or two and get a little closer. But as long as these guys are actively trying to get to me, the bats will attack. If you're melee, you can see I can sit here attacking them, and they can't attack me back. A little bit of a gap as a result. They can't hit me, I can hit them. And with this, you can train either your melee, you can train your ranged, you can train your magic, you can train summoning. All of these things can be trained from 0 to 100. And the best part about this farm as well is that since you're killing all of these ads, you will also train your vitality up to 100 as well. So as a result, you can easily get 5 skills on this tree up to 100 with this one farm. And you can do it before you even take the Great Wall down. For this trick, what we're going to do is we're basically going to make a mob farm, but we're just going to make a very simple one so that the goal is to herd all of the mobs into a single location to make it easy for us to kill them ourselves and get the experience, get the loot, and work up those combat skills. So first what you're going to do, you're going to need a shovel, and you're just going to dig yourself a bit of a trench, and you're going to want to leave yourself just 2 tiles, or it doesn't need to be all of that wide. Just give yourself a couple of tiles and dig a nice long trench. You're going to want to make this as long as you possibly can. I've gone ahead and collected 200 ground slime, and I'm going to place it all. So this thing's going to be 100 tiles long and 2 tiles wide. I've also got 200 conveyor belts, and those are going to help us get all of the loot brought to a single location. So when you're placing your conveyor belts, make sure that they're all going in the direction that you want them to go to. Mobs will spawn just fine with conveyor belts over their slime tile. And ultimately, we want to get all these mobs to end up in one spot. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this one a little bit so that what we're going to end up with is all of the enemies are going to end up right here. So they're all going to kind of funnel into this one spot, and hey, maybe they might end up over in this spot a little bit too, but this conveyor belt will try to push them over. What this gives me the ability to do now is when they're all just kind of stuck here, I can swing and I can hit them. I can shoot them with my bow. I can shoot them with my staff, and I can kill them, and I can get the loot. The one disadvantage to this is you have to wait for all of these mobs to spawn, and that can take a while. But if that's something that you're willing to wait for, the big advantage to doing it this way is this is the only one of the methods that I've listed here that provides you with any kind of loot. But with this one, you can train all of your combat skills as well as your vitality, so it is pretty good as well. Take your pick. Any one of these 3 methods will work just fine for early game ways of training up all of your combat skills, as well as a bonus for your vitality. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, and if you are feeling really generous, please join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member. Your support means the world to me, and I can't do it without you. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, stay crazy.